He built an entire brand of wealth, success, and financial freedom. But when people started looking into it, the lifestyle he was portraying didn't line up with the reality. Let's dive in.
Beat the system. Now I keep $1 million in there. I get another $1 million. I buy a real estate property for $4 million. We're balling.
So there's a new asshole in town. This giraffe-looking piece of shit with pubic hair on his fucking head. I'm looking at him, I'm like, what's wrong with this asshole? But like all the others, he's from Miami. He drives around the same block on Brickell over and over and over with that pubic hair of his flying in the wind because he thinks people need to look at it. Nobody wants to see that shit. He even has a sharmuta by his side, right? From Russia. He says it's his Russian model from Instagram, right? But we all know he ordered that shit in the fucking mail.
You want to know the real reason why I'm successful, bro? It's not because I'm extremely intelligent with a genius level IQ. It's not because I'm unusually tall, sexy, and handsome. It's because I'm delusionally optimistic.
And if you think about it, right, if you look at him, if Peggy Watson and the 7-foot monster had a love child, that would be this asshole, because this asshole, right, look at him coming out of the car looking like that tall giraffe he is. He is actually 7 foot tall with that pubic hair dangling around everywhere. But everyone's been wondering,
Why is he not in the league? 7 feet tall? That's crazy. How is there a civilian running around at 7 feet tall? Is he for real 7 feet tall, or is Johnny Bravo exaggerating? Shout out to Johnny Bravo, by the way, for the video, but bro is really 7 feet tall. Why is he not in the league?
is his life a lie? How is this 22-year-old kid a millionaire by selling programs to kids? I mean, look, we know how all these guys do it. They do everything for show. Their life is rented. Their life is a lie. So I wanted to take a little bit closer of a look into this asshole. And this is what I found.
You guys need to understand that to some degree, life is materialistic, right? It's always broke people judging rich people. They're always like, oh, well, I don't need a penthouse. I live in a box. I don't need a hypercar. I have a Honda. You can't get a hypercar. And for that reason, you're hating, right? But to some degree, the results in your life reflect that you have the blueprint figured out, right? If I was telling you guys all this shit, but I didn't have a penthouse, I didn't have a Russian model rubbing my shoulders, I don't have 4 million in cars, what's the validity to my statements? There is none.
So when I first saw this asshole, you guys remember one of the greatest movies ever, Coming to America, right? I remember it as a kid. Remember that one asshole, the real asshole, Daryl, who was full of himself, looking at himself in the mirror, thinking he's the shit, pretending he's this good guy, but in actuality, he was a piece of shit asshole. Well, when I first saw Vincent Fisher and how he's acting with that hairdo of his, I was like, this guy Daryl must have been his idol.
Right? It's very hard to die or go broke if you look like money. Might just seduce somebody, get a goddamn meal, you know what I'm saying? Might just, go into Fry's, wink at the goddamn waitress. Hey, on the house.
I mean, look at the way he was looking at himself, right? Saying he's so handsome, saying he's so good looking, right? But then, that Russian sharmuta of his, look how he treats her, the same way as that asshole Daryl was trying to treat the girls.
Yes, where I'm from, we have to be very aggressive. I'm all for that. Especially with women.
If I was telling you guys all this shit, but I didn't have a penthouse, I didn't have a Russian model rubbing my shoulders, I don't have 4 million in cars.
Take charge. Tell them what to do.
Vincent Fisher, the best man of the world. Yes, yes.
So let's go back a little. This asshole Vinny, he was 17 years old, right? He was a kid. He was skinny as hell, right? So
This literally looks like satire, man. It looks like satire. I don't understand how someone.
he wanted to get bigger. And he admits here, I'm going to show you in a moment, that he took steroids because people are wondering. You see this guy, you think he's 35 years old. There's no way this asshole is 22, right? Especially when you see how he was just a few years ago. Well, he was selling programs to kids on that transformation, but he didn't tell them, of course, that he was taking steroids.
So with that, so you say you were natty at first. Did you ever experimented or wanted to experiment with like any enhancements?
Yeah. Like after I moved to Miami and stuff like that, play around with stuff. I guess I got them all along.
What? Zaire's talking? Guete. Go to bed.
Stuff. Anyways, I got up to like 220 during that time. But what happened was I had health issues. And then on top of that, my psychological wasn't on point, where I'm like crashing out and I'm like started arguments. I wasn't being the stoic person I am. And then I kind of removed myself from that. That's another reason, I've never said this on camera, but that's why I stopped strict reselling fitness programs.
And I always say, when you're a kid and you take shit like this, it's going to age you prematurely. It's going to make you look 10, 15 years, if not more, older than what you're supposed to be. So I always say, kids should stay away from the shit. And you saw how he was saying he had health problems and he had to stop? Well, what happened? His business that he was teaching the kids this shit had to stop too, because he was gonna shrink up like a little bitch, and he knew nobody would buy the shit, right? So he had another bright idea, the same one as all the rest of these assholes. He's gonna sell people programs on how to coach people to be coaches. It's like a modern day pyramid scheme, right? Without having to go door to door like a little Sharmuta Mary Kay. You guys remember her?
What are they coaching though? Like coaching to coach what? Are you coaching someone on how to coach what?
It's the same shit.
I coach coaches who coach coaches. Like that's
Oh.
what I do. But I'm not gonna lie about this. I'm not gonna say buy my course instead. I'm gonna say, listen, the numbers are there. Obviously, I'm good at what I do. People go, oh, well, you're a scammer. I mean, if I teach you how to go viral, and I teach you how to make money, and I happen to be viral and make money, that's living proof that I know to some degree what I'm talking about.
But in order for his plan to work, right, he has to show that he's making money. He's got the Sharmuta on his side. He lives in a penthouse. He's got Lamborghinis, Rolls Royces, all these cars, right? So he had to find a way to get this shit in order to sell these programs.
We're buying a $3.5 million hypercar at 22 years old. Now, I just sent the wire out this morning, so we're gonna run a few errands and go pick that up. But in the meantime, I don't know if I've ever shown the penthouse on the channel, but you guys can see here, this is the spot we got in. And boys, when I say penthouse, I don't mean 40th floor. When I say penthouse, I mean it's 2 stories, and there's absolutely nothing above us if you guys take a look outside. Yes, sir.
So
Yeah, I mean, anytime anyone's like flexing a extremely materialistic lifestyle, automatically skeptical. Like the people that like true wealth, it's like it's silent. It's they've been there before. They just take the trip. They don't need to. They just fly private. People who fly private, they just fly private. They don't need to post videos of them doing it. People who got those luxury supercars and hypercars, they just drive them. They don't need to always be flexing with it. And so, yeah, anytime anyone is like flexing a lifestyle, I'm immediately skeptical. Immediately. And if you're buying a $3.2 million car, your net worth better be at least $30 million. At least.
I wanted to do a little digging and see. And there's this penthouse that this Vincent is always bragging about. Every one of his videos is about this penthouse, right? In Miami on the top floor, right? I wanted to see, does he own it? Does he rent it? What's the story? Because he tries to make everybody believe that he owns this thing, right?
We fucking beat the system. Now I keep $1 million in there, I get another $1 million, I buy a real estate property for $4 million. We're fucking balling. Fuck, I wake up in my 2-story penthouse and decide which $500,000 car to drive. No, I have no boss. Nobody tells me what to do. And I'm like, fuck.
So I went and I got the address for the place and I looked it up and I found an old Zillow listing, right? But something was very interesting in this Zillow listing. If you guys take a look here at all these pictures, notice something. Look at the decorations, look at the furniture, look at everything. It's the exact same setup, right? That this asshole's using when he's filming his videos, but this listing is years old. So what's the story of it? So I took it even further. I went to the tax website on the address of the house, and lo and behold, he's not the owner of it, right? I went and looked up the MLS and it says that it was rented last October, right? And if you look here, I'm going to show his posting on Instagram. The day he moved in, he was posting it and flaunting it on Instagram like he owns it. Now, this is the thing. I can't see the name of who actually rented it. For all we know, it's rented out for movie shoots, photo shoots, pictures, because I spoke to the neighbors there. And they said they only see him there once. I spoke to the neighbors there, and they said they only see him there once in a while. So what's the real story? We don't know, but we do know that the asshole's renting the place. So that got me thinking. I'm like, if he's renting this place...
Did you guys see that? Said footage sent to me by the neighbor. How in the world did Johnny Bravo get in touch with the neighbor and get the neighbor to do that?
Pending he's owner, right? What about that Russian Sharmut over there? Who says he didn't order that shit in the mail? What about all those cars he drives, right? The cars he drives are from that same shady place other influencers get their cars from. Remember Wes when he was in the car arguing about not having a title and registration? That was bought from this same place. But I mean, a kid, 22 years old, driving around now, he's saying a $3.5 million car, getting it from that same shady place. So I knew some shady shit is going on, and that got me thinking, all right? This kid still has to have money in order to pull this shit off, right? I remember when he spoke about something, he said, I knew in life that I was going to be successful, whether it was going to be being a criminal or not being a criminal, but he was going to find a way.
Like, the thing is, I was either going to end up ridiculously rich with the right thing or ridiculously rich a criminal. Just because that's how my mind works.
He also was saying how much he loves debt, right? And how he found creative ways to get money and use money to purchase things that wasn't his own.
I love debt, and I think that's why America is the place that people move to go 0 to 100, because you have access to other people's money. There's nowhere else in the world where you have as easy access to other people's money as the U.S. The U.S. is trillions in debt already.
Yeah.
I'd always go over using other people's money over my own. Even when I'm at the highest branches of U.S. banks, right? When I'm at, the banks and they deal with bigger amounts of money that's moving through accounts, you're talking to a different staff. But, I'll speak to these people and they'll say the same thing. They'll go, Vince, none of the wealthy families we work with use their own money. A lot of them use like life insurance policies to not use their own money.
Yep.
A lot of them will just take out loans and stuff to not use their own money. But as a rule of thumb, why would you use your own money when you could use somebody else's?
So when I put all these things together, right, I was thinking, that's what he's doing. He's doing creative things, crooked things to put this show on for everyone in order to sell all these programs to kids.
My target audience is people my age. So like the oldest, there's a few outliers in a group of guys that are a little bit older, but as a rule of thumb in general, my guys are in their early 20s, same age as me. Oh wow, some guys are 2 years older, but it's kind of like the same exact thing.
And something else I noticed too, how he was saying criminal shit? Look what he says here. Remember how I told you, people were fucking with my channel? I didn't mention names, but we all know who it was, right? Well, what's funny is, the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree with all these guys. They must be all connected together because we all know they think the same way. Because look what this asshole admits that he would do to someone.
But I'm in the world of business, right? To some degree, I'm in the education game on a smaller scale. Yeah. So if somebody were making serious, false,
defamatory threats against me, if that's even a word. A split second of my mind goes, and how much would it cost to delete this person? Not kill them. Like, how much would it cost to take their channel down? Yeah, 2,000. All right, let's do that. I'm not saying that I've done anything like that, but it's crossed my mind. And I think if I'm in the game of just making a few million, right, and there's people that make trillions, do they not think the same thing a little bit? Do they not think, oh, Scuff, oh, maybe he had an eye on and he's got set in it. Oh, this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just giving an idea. Like, no, yeah, I'm just taking it into account.
So like I said earlier, in order for this asshole's plan to work, he has to sell this dream. He has to sell this lifestyle to kids who are easily manipulated. I mean, that shit's not going to work on people who are experiencing life, but think about his target audience and think about them seeing the Russian sharmuta, the penthouse, the cars. They don't want this shit. So what do? They buy his program. In the end, think about it, right? If enough of these assholes buy it, he's going to end up making money. But to me, he's always just going to be that giraffe-looking pubic hair piece of shit.
So the problem with most men is they're unsuccessful in thinking they have the world figured out to the T. I speak to so many men, I'm like, bro, you need to tweak this, you need to do that. They're like, Vince, yeah, but you don't understand, bro, how my mind works. How your mind works does not work. And that's why you don't have results. So you need to drop your ego and switch your mind, learn from somebody that has the results you want in life, and they're inevitable.
Yeah, there's just plenty of ways. I mean, there's every like wealthy person writes a book. You know, there's tons of YouTube videos, podcasts. If you want the knowledge to grow wealth, it's out there. You definitely don't need to be buying these courses and things like that. But if you enjoyed the video, check out some other videos that I have in my playlist.